Good afternoon. Currently we are in Riga office of Senior Group and we are going to present you our experience of erecting and operating here close to Riga in Latvia of the COVID-secured modular residence Senior Cartier. What do we mean under this name, COVID-secured modular residence? So here is a short video that was taken in our residence.
Senior Cartier is not a traditional senior care residence. Their architectural, technological and social innovations assure an independent, interesting and safe way of living for residents of this unique community. Our aiders that live and work together with our residents, they form the family councils. And these family councils, they discuss and take the decisions about the most important issues of their lives here. No any corona positive resident has ever been detected here in our facility in Riga. To assure the complete security of our residents in difficult times of coronavirus, we've been obliged to create the special unit where all our aiders spend one night before the start of their job shift. So they come in the night to this place, they pass the analysis, tests, and tests are sent to a laboratory in center of town, and they are waiting here till the results, negative results for sure, come. And let's see how they spend their time in this unit. Hi, Ludmila. Nice to see you. So, what do you do here?
Да вот только что недавно сдала анализы на коронавирус, а сейчас жду ответа.
So it's not the first time when you pass this test here.
Да, перед каждой сменой мы сдаем анализы, а потом на следующий день, когда приходит ответ, мы идем на работу.
Okay, thank you, Luda, for your job. See you tomorrow.
You know that the situation in senior residences that was caused by COVID epidemic is quite dramatic. That approximately 3.7 million of Europeans live in different types of senior residences, in nursing homes and assisted living communities. It's approximately 0.7 of all the European population. But unfortunately, this less than 1% of our population has brought approximately 50% of all the COVID-related deaths. So on these infographics you can see how this situation is dramatic. So less than 1% of all the Europeans that live in senior care institutions unfortunately brought almost 50% of all the deaths COVID related.
And also we know unfortunately that because of the applied plans of confinement, a lot of aged persons were locked in their rooms, and it brought a lot of different problems for their mental health. So today we, operators of senior care facility, we have to admit that it's not enough just to have the epidemiological plan. We have to change all the system, and this type of facility that we are talking about is one of the possible solutions for this grand changement.
So Senior Cartier is not a traditional senior residence for elderly. As you see that originally Senior Cartier was conceived as family-type care residence, grouping of big family houses, maison familiale, whose main objective was to improve the independence of residents and efficiency of care process. Now this first Cartier contains several twin houses, 4 standard houses, 1 house dedicated for Alzheimer's diseased persons, and 1 house under construction currently will include also medical block. The total capacity is 75 beds approximately, and as I told, it's constructed in small village Barbite, close to Riga, the capital of Latvia. As I told, it was conceived initially as simple family-style residence, but the last 3 months of fight against COVID has shown that this concept of Senior Cartier definitely with applied additional procedures and protocols, is very resistant to the risk of pandemics. First of all, let's talk about the main model of this quartier. The main model of quartier is one twin house. It's one-story building of 250-300 square meters, and where the caregiver, and we call this caregiver daughter, she resides, she lives together with residents. One caregiver per each 6 residents. As we call this left and right part of this model, we call it unit. So for one unit, there are 6 beds of residents and 1 room for caregiver who lives almost all the time with aiders and eats together with them. There are different plans because we have tested already several variants, as I told, for bedridden persons, luxury floor plans, and Alzheimer's diseased floor plans. So there are several opportunities how to erect these plans in the most efficient way. We are in our unit of senior quartier that has just been opened for visits of administrative personnel, because it's the first day after the end of confinement, after the end of quarantine. So let's see how our residents and how aiders do live inside. So we enter. You see that there is a salon when they take their lunch now. Afterwards, there is a small kitchen. Definitely the food is not prepared here, but every resident can participate in process of preparation of some dinners or maybe family lunches if it exists. Also, we see that there is huge terrace, and all the houses and sometimes even the studios of our residents, they're equipped with these terraces. Every terrace definitely has a panic button for any case, and you can see from here that our quartier is the part of residential community, and neighbors, they consider our residents as simple members of the same community. Let's look at double room. Hope nobody is here for now. There are nobody here. Let's come in. This house has been just constructed just before the start of quarantine, so there are no any pictures yet on the walls. But every room is equipped with shower and toilet, so we can see that it's quite efficient from the point of view of taking care of our residents. And now we'll go to the room where our aider, as we call them, our daughters, where they live and where they take care in the night for this house or for other houses. We see that here is post of control, so she can control not only this unit but all the units of our quartier. And also there is traditional old-fashioned system of control of panic buttons that are installed anyway in the showers. And here is bed where she can sleep if she decides to stay in this place, because it's quite far from city. Okay, so it was fine. Thank everybody. Bye. Here is our typical module. So this is one floor house, and you can see that it contains, or it consists of 2 units, as we call them. Every unit is quite independent, and in every unit we have several rooms with showers and toilets for residents, and 1 room for aider. Also we have hearth area, and in between we have some technical stuff, if it's heating plant or some storage room. What's very important, that aider who leaves at least for 3 days of shift, she can see from her room through one of the transparent walls the entrances for all the other rooms of residents and all the hearth area. Also, we can see that everything is planned to be resampled to real family house. And also that's very important for our investors, that in case of, it can be really easily converted into traditional twin house. And that's why banks can, and actually they do it, they can finance it up to 80% with quite favorable rates. Also, we use quite different technologies for erecting of different houses. For instance, we can erect it from brick or prefabricated concrete panels, or even from ossature de bois, from the wooden skeleton. And there are different types of units, either unit for Alzheimer's diseased persons, or the unit for bedridden persons, or for instance lux, when every room is converted into independent studio with its own terrace and independent entrance. So we can say now that based on our experience, and we erected already 10 units like this, now we can present this final version that is extremely efficient from constructional and operational point of view, that we are going to duplicate through all the Europe. And that's the most important, that it has proven to be really COVID secured unit for senior care residents. The basic solution of senior quartier, big family house, definitely is comfortable, is affordable, has low consumption of energy, and is COVID resistant. So why it's affordable? It's affordable because it's prefabricated, it's one-story building, really fast erected, only 8 months. It's very easy to replicate, and because of its modular construction, thanks to its modular construction, it can give quite high internal rate of return, approximately 30%, because investor is not obliged to invest all the money into construction at the same time. He invests first into one twin house, then when we feel it, we construct the second and the third, then the fourth, fifth and sixth. So it makes the time life of investment much more smoother, and it influences, this fact influences positively the internal rate of return of this project if we consider it as investment opportunity. What are competitive advantages of this project? Definitely the most important is family approach. So family approach helps us to attract much easier aged persons. I think everybody knows that it's very difficult to persuade aged person to move into a traditional nursing home, because as they say in the States, that there are only two places where people never go by their own will, prison and nursing home. Unfortunately, we can confirm that yes, for every person to stay in his own place, it's always more comfortable than to move to any type of residence, the most luxury. But when an aged person compares traditional nursing home with our, they finally always choose our model, and it helps us to feel it much easier than traditional big residence. As I just told you, modular construction helps to construct it, never mind where, very fast, and increase the financial parameters also of our project. And also we change slightly business processes, we'll explain later how. That helps us also to make the care more efficient and to increase the sense of security and of social inclusion of our resident. What does it mean, family approach? First of all, we have really small units, so every unit contains not more than 6 residents. Second of all, the shifts of our nursing assistant or caregivers or of daughters, as we call them, they are quite long, so from 3 to 6 days. So they live and stay together in these houses. And it's very important because it increases the sense of being one family. And as I've just explained, elderly people, they really prefer this kind of dwelling, compared to other types of nursing homes. All the operations are performed first of all by aiders, by caregivers living with resident 24 hours per day, and definitely also by visiting assistants like nurses, doctors, housekeepers if we need them, and sometimes chiefs. What do we mean under innovative business procedures? All the operations are consolidated in 20 subgroups that are grouped into 6 big groups, and we'll see it in 30 seconds. But right now I want just say that all the living plans of our residents, they are updated automatically with help of the specially developed senior coding application that is used by all the caregivers. And also special additional equipment and detectors are incorporated into monitoring procedures. And it helps to our aiders to perform their duties more efficiently, especially during the COVID times. So all, as I told you, business processes, they are grouped, and we see that we address the social stimulation, boarding and food, security, activities of daily living, and additional services like healthcare and like conciergerie. So all our business processes, all our operations, they are allocated to one of these subgroups that helps us to cover all the continuum of necessary care, and we hope to avoid the lacunes in the business processes. As I told in the beginning, we are not the first who are developing this family-style care. There are several examples. The most important is definitely the greenhouse project that has been developed already 20 years ago by Dr. Thomas in the United States, but also there is experience in France, the so-called HEV, that has been acquired 2 years ago by the second biggest company in Europe, Cartier. Also there are examples in Italy and specialized, for instance, Alzheimer's diseased big family house in the United States, Butterfly Project. Why we started it in Latvia? Because in Latvia it's very easy compared to other parts of the Europe to start the construction and to get the different type of administrative permission faster than compared to in France. For instance, in Latvia it has taken only 8 months since the acquisition of land plot till the moving in of the first residents. Also, aged pyramid in Latvia resembles the age pyramid of other well-developed European countries. And the competitive scope is quite favorable because the majority of all the care residences, they have been developed during Soviet times, so all of them are quite big, sometimes ugly, but the most important that they are not family style at all. So for us it was quite empty place to start with our innovative concept. Our first project, however, was also quite big. It was 200-bed residence that currently belongs to Orpea, and we did not avoid there the uniforms, the equipment that was quite stigmatizing, long corridors. So our first project resembled actually a hospital that was adapted for long-term stay, not a real house or not real residential dwellings. The size of residence in the Baltic states is quite big. You see that the average and median size is over 100 beds. Now they don't construct these big residences, but as I told you, 90% of all the nursing homes and assisted living residents were constructed before 1991, before the second independence. Now we see also that in Riga, in capital of Latvia, the waiting list has been enlarged from 100 points, 100 people in this waiting list in 2015 till almost 500 in 2019. And we'll explain now why it has happened. But anyway, it helped us to start the construction of 3 senior quartiers that we are doing currently, and we hope that we organize these quartiers in clusters, as we call them, so several quartiers for 160 beds, 5 million investment, and that generates approximately 11-12% of return on assets, or 0.55 million of EBITDA. And our strategic plan is to develop 9 senior quartiers for approximately 1,350 beds for 40 million euros investment in 3 Baltic states that will generate 6 million euros of EBITDA. Now let's see how aged care pyramid in Latvia helped us to choose the correct moment how to, when and where to start the construction. We see that here is aged care pyramid. On the right side there are females, on the left side there are males. We see this aged care pyramid corresponds to 1975, and our target audience that have been born in 1936, 1941, in 1971 they were only 36, 38 years old. Unfortunately, Soviet statistics did not get the information about those who were over 80, but we know that the average age of moving into a nursing home is approximately 81 years old. So now let's animate this chart and we'll see what happens. Not rocket science, but we see that this tree moves upwards, and since 80s the statistics about ages has been started to be collected, but we see that during 90s the quantity of those people who theoretically needed that time this type of service, like changing of scale, simply moving into a nursing home, hasn't been changed seriously. The avalanche of the Great Tsunami has been started only in 2016. In 2016, the quantity of Latvians who were older than 81 has crossed the magic line of 10,000 people. So we see that the next several years, the quantity of our potential clients, so the quantity of those who need our service, will be increased every year and then to drop slightly. So this fact explains the dramatic increase of the waiting list of Riga City Hall, for instance, and it assures the potential success of all the constructors and operators of nursing homes and senior care residences in this part of the world. So what I've just told, that Latvia's dynamic population pyramid shows that the rapid growth of Latvians over 81, the main segment of accommodation facilities for elderly, started only a few years ago and will last for a long time. Now let's understand how we react to the challenges that were brought by epidemic of COVID virus. So there are mainly 4 main issues. First of all, not enough qualified staff. That's clear because a lot of aiders, they got ill, but some of them, they simply are afraid to become ill, and that's why they don't show up. Not enough time for quality care. Those aiders who are still on their workplaces, they simply don't have enough time. No direct personal contact with the families, for instance, that makes residents more nervous, and definitely all the aiders are also extremely nervous. So these challenges should be met, what we do with the help of different equipment. The control of security of our residents are not stigmatizing at all. So for instance, instead of panic buttons to be installed close to their beds, we use the special detectors that inform our aiders in case a resident has left his bed in the night and has not come back, for instance. Anita, hi.
Здравствуйте.
So tell me, what is this detector?
Это для резидентов. Когда резидент лежит, этот отключите. Этот стоит у меня. А когда резидент встанет, он сразу даст мне сигнал, и я сразу могу знать, кто из резидентов встал и вышел.
Okay, really interesting. Thank you. The main idea of this equipment is that it shouldn't be stigmatizing, so it shouldn't be fixed forever. It can be installed in any part of our houses where we succeeded to reinforce our ceilings. And you see that it's done almost everywhere. It's possible to install it only in several minutes by any aider, and afterwards it can be put away or it can be displaced. And now we'll help to our aider to finish the installation of this bar. Nice. And we'll test how it's installed, if it's fine or not. Wow, it's fixed, perfect. Allez, go. Merci.
Also, we use Google Home, that helps us to entertain our aiders.
Окей, Google. Turkish march.
Sure, Rondo alla Turca by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, playing on Spotify.
Я заказала, смотри, музыка сейчас пойдет.
But the most important innovation, the most important technology that we use is definitely our in-firm developed application, so-called senior coding. What does it mean, senior coding? Senior coding is the application that serves as an in-time assessment tool for resident, definitely besides its traditional ERP system. It has very easy training, and artificial intelligence model is under development that will help very soon for us to plan the permanently changing living plans, taking into account some predictive parameters. Up to now, we simply adapt living plan every day based on the different types of closing of the tasks.
Hi. Anita? Yeah. Hi. Okay. So, tell me how much residents do you help?
Es savus rezidentus varu redzēt savā aplikācijā. Varu parādīt. Es ieeju aplikācijā, sameklēju savu māju, un šeit man parādās visi mani rezidenti. Pašlaik man ir 6 rezidenti.
Can you show me the list of tasks that you were obliged to perform today?
Jā, varu. Lūdzu, mūsu aplikācijā dalās divās daļās – no rīta darbi un vakara darbi. Pašlaik man ir tikai vakara darbi palikuši, jo rīta darbus es esmu aizvērusi jau.
Okay, I see that all the morning tasks are already completed. So let's discuss your evening tasks. Okay, I see the task that is called help with toileting.
Jā, piemēram, šeit ir rezidents Biruta. Viņai vakara darbs ir man palīdzēt viņai nokļūt uz toaleti un atpakaļ. Es varu aizvērt, vai nu rezidents ir atteicies, vai nu es esmu viņam palīdzējis nokļūt un atkļūt no toaletes, vai viņš ir aizgājis viens pats un ar manu palīdzību.
Okay, thank you, Anita. See you tomorrow.
It helps us, first of all, to assure that all the residents were showered based on their living plan, but second of all, if the living plan, for instance, prescribed taking their independent shower, but actually resident needed that day accompanied shower, this would be closed with the level 3, serious level of dependency, and it should be taken into account while the next living plan and the next list of tasks for caregiver is drawn out by application. So based on this assessment, the system monitors the data and adjusts the residence plan. And afterwards, system generates invoices and generates pay slips for aiders. So every resident, unfortunately, needs more help, will jump for the next level of dependency, and this additional time will be invoiced for family or for municipality, and aider will be remunerated for this additional service. So how all these intrinsic, originally implemented features have helped us to adapt the situation for COVID-related challenges. We implemented several operational principles. First of all, we prolonged slightly the online stay of our aiders, because we know that every day coming to jobs aiders, they are the main source of the contamination of virus. So we agreed with them to stay on job not less than 6 days. Then we created the pre-quarantine and screening for all the caregivers. We prepared quarantine block for residents and caregivers.
Now we are going to visit our confinement block. It's evident that this confinement block is prepared for somebody who will suffer from the first symptoms of coronavirus. Luckily, you see that from the beginning of this epidemic, this block has never been used. So let's check that everything is ready. We can see that anybody can stay here, can take shower. Everything is ready, I hope. Yeah, it's exactly like this. So we can see that sheets and towels and even something for tea. Also, there are some masks in tiroir, and definitely television just to watch TV while you are here and segregated. But as I told, the most important news is that this block has never been used from the beginning of our confinement.
Very important that according to our model, the full quarantine is possible on the unit level. So not all the floor, for instance, should be wrapped up, or not one room, because if person is confined in his room, it has really negative consequences. But the units of 4-6 residents, that is not so dramatic. Continue talking about operational principles. Possibility of full quarantine for all residents confined in units not in a room. Series of COVID-secured life plans provided by the senior coding mobile application. So our mobile application has allowed to apply the quarantine procedures quite easily. And definitely we performed special training for caregivers. And let's talk slightly how this quarantine has influenced our finances. So definitely, if we're talking about investment, we have not invested a lot more. It's just to explain how it works. So when we're talking about investment price into one unit, we buy 1,500 square meters approximately for 30,000 euros. Then we invest into construction up to 300,000. Finally, the investment price is approximately 400,000 euros. So we are trying to keep investment price per one bed on the 30,000 euros per one bed level. And if we are talking about profit and loss, you see that 43% of our expenditures are resident-related costs. So it's salary, it's food, it's small medication, and 22% is real estate-related costs, like utilities payment. So traditionally we have 36% of EBITDA, and half of this sum we are ready to pay as rent, for instance. During COVID times, the resident-related costs have been increased up to 55%. It happened because of the increased spending for diapers, for instance, for some materials, cleaning materials and disinfection materials. But also, and the most important, we are obliged to pay for our aiders for additional shifts in the pre-quarantine block. But never mind, you see that even after this increase, we still get the positive EBITDA and even the positive net income. That is really good, because if you compare this type of real estate, for instance, to traditional hotel or for commercial center that suffered a lot from COVID situation, this type of investment seems to be quite secured from financial point also. The special specialized safe consortium has been created to fight against COVID on the European level. Now we have 9 members, and the main idea of this consortium is to choose the different solutions that will help to national, institutional, social care systems to withstand the next pandemics. And Senior Group is first of all among the founders of this consortium, and second of all, our solution has been pre-chosen by the experts of consortium as one of the possible ways how to prepare the national systems for the next pandemics. So here is the scheme how we hope our consortium will work. So a consortium that has now as members aged care NGOs, academic experts, municipalities and regions, and COVID protection solution providers, all together will help to regions to choose the COVID protected, COVID secure solutions and to adapt their national care systems for the possible new waves of COVID and other virus. We hope that this information will help to you or to the aiders of your country to save the lives of residents of institutions in case of the next wave. Merci.